on, my friends? I'm Rick, and this is your seat at the table, and Little Missy's over here in the corner, and we're looking at Menzoberranzan. Menzoberranzan. However it's pronounced, it is for Forgotten Realms, and technically this would have been late 2nd edition, very early 3rd edition. I actually think it says 2nd edition on the box, but I think it was right towards the end. So anyway, this is the box set for the famed city of the Drow by Greenwood, Niles, and Salvatore. If you're not familiar with Forgotten Realms at all, maybe you've heard of the fellow named Drizzat Do'Urden. Drizzat Do'Urden was geez, now this is when I wish I had a nice little video or a little image of this guy, because sometimes images go a long way. And I try to have some, but it's like a lot of crap. Why didn't you think of that before? Well, shit, if I thought about it before, we wouldn't be having this damn conversation anyway. There we go, let's see, because, I just, what do you frickin' do? I mean, there are some pretty funky stuff, so let me see, alright? Yeah. See, this is why I don't like doing this sort of thing while I'm doing a video, because now I minimized this screen and went hunting for another damn screen, and then brought up images and did a little search, and then saved the image so I could now pop the image up here. So Drizzat Do'Urden is a drow, and he's born to the nobility of a house within this community. And the stories are written by R.A. Salvatore, I believe is his initials. Salvatore for sure. And he is an excellent. Between him and Stackpole, they wrote some really killer novels, some of the best in Forgotten Realms, and in some of the best in BattleTech. I got nothing against a lot of the writers that they have in BattleTech today. I would dearly love to be a writer in BattleTech. I actually have been poking along at a short BattleTech story, but I don't know that if I'll ever do anything with it. Blah. Anyway, so Drizzat Do'Urden basically gave a kick or a boost of adrenaline to Dungeons and Dragons in the mid '90s, early '90s, and he really drew a lot of interest. And one of the things that stood apart was the fact that they'd crossed the divide to include novels. So now we see this as commonplace now. You can't, BattleTech and novels, the damn novels in BattleTech, these things freaking drive the yeah, I got 2 of these damn books. I ought to give one of these damn things away. I think I might do that one of these days on the channel. Just do a giveaway. Anyway, the thing is, they have add flavor and structure and depth, and more importantly, depth to any kind of game system. And so it's always nice. So we got all Drizzat here. Now we can remove him, get rid of him, and this box set. Actually, it was about this time I started realizing I kind of wanted to keep my boxes, but all the boxes prior to this era all ended up getting destroyed and damaged and thrown away because I didn't really see the value in them. I was younger. What are boxes, right? So we look at the book, and we have 2 books. Book 2, the houses, and so we're going to see the various houses of the Drow city. House Brenner, which is the ruling house, and lots of information on that. And most of this is based off of the characters development and the setting development from Salvatore's novels. And so his novels came out first. The original Drow trio came out first. Then they introduced this book here. I think the 2nd novel was published, and the popularity was sufficient that the creators decided to create the setting books to go with it. So we get into the other competing houses, because there's generally 8 most powerful houses sit on the council. Then there's a bunch of punky little houses below them. So 3rd house of the Menzoberranzan, blah blah, and House Plan Tabor. Some of these don't exist anymore because there's been a lot of brutal fighting and stuff like, they're Drow for House Sigloran. One of these houses was completely eradicated and tore down. You know, Agritrier. Yeah, there's a lich running the scenes behind one of these houses. So yeah, this one. All right, House Dreer. All right, House Mizum. Bay Blanche. Anyway, so we get into some of the lesser houses that are competing for the top slots. Then we have there's 3 books, that's right. Book 1, the city. So we have a book on the city. I was having a great conversation last night via posts on YouTube with one of y'all and he was talking about the source book on the elves that I just recently published, and I said, yeah, I still have we still have right now. I have we did the Elves of Evermeet. We have this one here to do, and then there's another one that I have to do, and I think I got a third one on already done. I'm not 100% sure because, like I said, I don't keep track of everything. That's what we have storage for. We store stuff at the Elves of Evermeet. Yeah, I knew there was another one. So the Elves of Evermeet. And that one's our video already done, so I'll be posting that one. I don't know if I'll get that. I'm likely to post this one first because this was a part of the subject of the topic we were talking about. And so then we have the adventure module that goes with it. So it gets you to set up an adventure, and you either play drow elves, or you play other underdark races, or you play goodly races that somehow find their way to this underdark city, and good luck not surviving it. It's pretty rough. This is not an adventure for first level characters, without a doubt. And so we get some place maps here. This is the battle maze and House Mithra dwelling. So that gives you a typical drow underdark setting. So their towers are these stalagmites and stalactites that hang and project up from the floor and hang from the ceiling, and then they fence in the areas around them and stuff. And so anyway, Battle Maze 2. So here is another battle map. Battle Maze 2. And one of the things about being learning to be a drow fighter, for example, they spend a good chunk of their life learning to perfect their combat skills. So, all right, then we have some character sheets. Use these player character sheets if you want to use pre-generate PCs who are not drow. So, right. The sad part is I love this setting, and I don't get it. I've not had too many opportunities to play it. I mean, it's just there's a nice wall map of the various drow house symbols and stuff, right? And obviously, it's never been used, never been put up on a wall. And one of the things he was talking, our conversation brought about. There's not enough room on the table to do this for the video to get it. But here's the grand map of the giant cavern that hosts this big ass city. I think this is half the map too. There's another one in here with the second lower half. So this would definitely be a wall map. This is one of those reasons, those things that I always wanted to have a decent sized game room because I wanted wall space to be able to hold, put these things up and display them properly. But also because these big, huge maps are better utilized as maps when people can access them. So if you have it right there on the, if you're in a campaign setting and you have a big map, hang it up on the wall where your players can observe it and see it. They can be looking at it while you guys are doing other things at the table. They can admire it when they come in. They can study it. I mean, it's a great prop, and it's a prop for a reason. But one of the things we was talking about was the lack of decent art when it comes to elves and elvish cities. Can you imagine trying to do three-dimensional art, two-dimensional art of, Loth from Middle-earth? The massive tree city and all the intricacies that go into it. There's so many amorphous lines from an artist's perspective. It's a whole nother animal to draw a environment such as a forest versus a town. A town is a lot of linear lines, a lot of straight lines, a lot of shading, but a lot of rectangular and square components that intermix, whereas the forest is anything close. So there's a whole lot more effort that goes into making that kind of artwork. And as time goes by, artwork gets improved. We get more players, or more players, yeah, more people involved in doing it. So we have some excellent little cardstock, and this will be a character. This is Marcus Myor, Elder Boy House Myor, which is a fictional house that they created for this box. So it's not one of the top 8; it's in the top 20, and it's in competition, right? So this is what you would potentially represent if you were playing in it. So Elder Daughter House Myor, this gal here. Anything about drows and drow females, ain't no joke. And we got Narcilla Myor, the elder daughter of the house, yet another elder daughter, and both of them are priestesses, of course. Then we have, what is this? Matron Mother Kuilis Myor. So this is her matron mother of the house. And I have done one really good campaign using this setting. And ironically, it was not with this box set. I actually had to do this stuff from the fly with memory, because this box set at the time was in storage here in Iowa and nowhere in a position where I could grab it and utilize it. So I had to go from memory and what I remember from the novels. Either way, if you want a dark setting, and here's a challenge for players and GMs alike. And it can be a moral challenge as much as anything else. This is something to take consider if you spent your lifetime running games and playing games. You're usually playing neutral or good-based characters for good reasons. We're supposed to be the good guys. We're supposed to represent the good guys. And sometimes, depending on your players, going down the dark rabbit holes can cause problems. And you have to know your players well, and you need to be confident with them, and they need to be confident with you to really pull off a dark campaign. So what I mean by dark campaign, I mean taking characters that are not neutral good or not good, but are on the evil bent side of things, and putting them into what might be considered a normal environment for their kind. And so the best example we have in literature when it comes to games is the Drizzat Do'Urden story and all the secondary stories that offshoot from his saga. And there's probably 25 novels revolving around the drow of this particular city, various families, including Drizzat Do'Urden's family and what's left of it later on, etc. So anyway, it's just one of those things where you just go and have to make the decisions. How do you play it? So here we got, what is this feller? Tornell Mithler, second boy of the house. All right. It's rough being a male in this society. There's no getting around it. And there is Daryl Canton, adopted son of House Myor, however you want to pronounce the damn thing. So here we are. I can get down the last of these. This would be the House Wizard, Curtis Myor. All right. So there would be this second half of this map. Yeah, these all go together, no questions about it. See, it's a big ass place. Yeah, see, there's 3 maps, for Pete's sake. There's three maps here that go together with this. Or is there 4? I think there's 4. Yeah, I remember why I've never used this damn map. You literally would need a wall. So you have a map of this city that would be roughly 3.5 feet by 3.5 feet. I don't know the exact measurement of these things, but 4 of these, and this is only half, this is only ones, flipping it back and forth. So this is 1/4. So I would definitely need this whole wall behind the table to put all 4 of these together. And I would want to do that. If I was running a campaign in this setting, this is the sort of thing I'm saying. You would want this so you could display it. A minute there, I must have, okay, I put them back in there. I thought maybe for some reason I had another pile in there. Hey, there's a polyhedron in there too. What do you know? I haven't been in this box in 20 years. I'm telling you that right now. So we got the House Do'Urden retrospective containing the collection of works of Drizzat Do'Urden. So we get some more and some connections. So we talk about things like on station, homeland, or on memories, homeland, on falsehood, homeland, from the novels. So these are excerpts from those various novels. So homeland, exile, 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 and sojourn. Yeah. All the basics for the characters in that house. And so what do we got here? We have the Polyhedron, January 91, new zine. This is probably the third one I have left. I literally had 100 plus of these damn things at one time, or damn close to 100 of them. I don't remember, but I started getting a subscription to this Polyhedron really early on in the first 4 or 5 issues that came out, and I had all of them, and I still have quite a few. I guess I did a video on some of these. You know, and at some point I might do videos on all the individuals I do have left. I think I have 10 or 15 or 20 of these sitting out there on the shelf. I can't be 100% sure. And then we got some, what is this stuff? Let me take a look. Well, yeah, there's a paycheck from my wife from Casey's in '98. And this one here would be one of my paycheck stubs from Stone Container. Stone Bag Corporation. Bell Avenue, Des Moines, Iowa. Long gone. That place is no longer operating in that location. My gross pay for a 40-hour week, no, for 32 hours. I had a short week this week. So that week. So the short week was $318 was my take home. And I paid $54 to taxes, child support, $70 to child support, $37 went to my insurance, United Way, First Iowa Credit Union deduction, 401k savings. Yeah, see, there's proof. I had a 401k at one point. I'm not going to show you guys all the details on that crap, but it's not the point. Anyway, there's that 401k is long gone too. I did a video, a rant video on my other channel, and about something along them lines. Anyway, customer response card. How old is the user? The age I began playing role-playing games. I was taught to play by blank. I was introduced. Nice little card, and then the idea is they want information so they know who they are catering to. Polyhedron, we're gonna put that up there. So this is the 1992 Fall and Winter catalog, including introducing the Dragon Quest game. Dragon Quest, when it was first came out. Then we got Sword and Shield, the Hollow World. I never got into Hollow World. I had a friend who did, and we poked around in it a little bit, but it just never quite was my gig. I never quite got around to, going any further with it. Let's see, Dark Sun. I have one item for Dark Sun. I actually think I have the box set, or I did. I have to look at it, but I never got. Once again, it was Dungeons and Dragons with a new setting. I was big on Faerun, the Forgotten Realms, and so adding yet another setting, I just couldn't justify it financially, and I really wish I had. Now, Ravenloft was another one. I really wish I had had the opportunity to buy more of it, and I didn't, and now it's too late. Well, I guess it's never too late if I ever had the money to buy some of this crap. I do have 1 or 2 Ravenloft novels somewhere out there in the shelves. Then Al Creedum campaign. This was a box set that came out, and I seriously considered getting it, but the reason I didn't was because, it's in a setting I'm not usually used to. So here we get into some of the advanced Dungeons and Dragons, the compendium, which I've already done a video on, and the Player's Handbook. Player's Handbook from 1996 was $20. Character sheets, Dungeon Master screen, Celts. I don't think I got that one. The Magical Encyclopedia. I think I do have that one. The Mighty Fortress. This is one I didn't get. I don't remember either one of these coming to Ivor's Dungeon, to the bookstore. And you got to admit, outside of these catalogs, the only real exposure you had before the internet made it easier to see things was what's on the shelf at the store, or what might be coming attraction posters at the store. So you kind of depended on your game store a lot more than you do today. You cannot you can get everything on the internet now that you could not do back then. So obviously the complete Elves Handbook, which I just recently published, Dungeons and Mystery. Once again, I didn't get it. And there was some box sets. There was some box sets from this series, this era, that were extremely expensive. For my budget, I just never could justify getting them because as much as I enjoyed it, I bought a lot of this stuff for personal consumption. I didn't ever expect to really have players play half the stuff I bought because it just wasn't enough time in the day to do that, and we were pretty focused on the ones we did like. But I liked having more stuff, and I liked reading about more systems. I liked the opportunities and the ideas that came with these systems, because you can borrow from any system and utilize it in whatever system you're currently using. It's just a matter of what you want to do, and nobody can tell you boo. And if they do, tell them where to go. Just saying, right? So in this case, we look at this, all this stuff I didn't get. I mean, I got a lot of crap, but there's still just tells me just how much stuff's still floating around out there, which is why every now and then I'll run into something at JCD and Hobby. Once that's another game, it's a game store / other crap store. And there's 3 of them here in town, and then there's Mayhem Comics. And Mayhem Comics is more of the traditional role-playing game store, but it also sells anime and comic books and board games and crap like they all do to make money. And so at Jay's, though, Jay's buys used stuff on a regular basis. People bring in their old material and sell it to Jay's, and then Jay's will turn around and put it out on the shelf. And they have these lower, I don't want to call them, they have a bargain box. They also have these used books shelf. It's down on the lower shelf, and I check them out every time I go in. It's been probably 5 or 6 months since the wife and I have been out there last, because I just ain't had the money to go spend on it. I mean, it doesn't take much. Next thing you know, you don't have it. Yeah, see, there's so much here that I didn't get. And some of this I do have. A lot of modules. I passed on a lot of modules over time on purpose because, once again, I'm going to turn my fan on just a hair, so my apologies for the extra drone going on, but I need a little air circulation. It's getting a little stuffy in here. I don't, y'all hear more about my personal life than probably anybody would care to know, and I'm going to point out one of them. You see me wear the same color shit all the time. It's because I only own about 6 shirts. I have 3 flannel, maybe 4. I have a 4th, but it's too tight. It doesn't fit well. I don't wear it outside the house. But I only have 4 of these for winter, and I have 3, maybe 4 of the ones you see me wearing all summer. So you've seen all 4 of my shirts on a regular basis. I'm a big guy, and big guy stuff is expensive. It is, and once again, I can barely pay what we got to keep the basics going. I worry about it constantly. I don't know about y'all's family and all your all setting, but in my setting, it's just the wife and I, and it takes its toll too. I mean, when she had to go on disability, we lost half of her income. She doesn't make half. She makes half of what she used to, and then I listen to these people go on and well, we should get rid of Social Security. Honestly, I don't think people really understand just how much of our society was built around the concept of these fucking entitlement programs. My wife's getting $1,000 a month from SSI because she's been epileptic her entire damn life. She got diagnosed at the age of 5 and has epilepsy, and she has some pretty nasty stuff. And she's at the max when it comes to her medication. The next step is to put an implant in her, and she doesn't want that. So, and I can't force her to do that, but at the end of the day, she said that helped her. Look, if you know anything about disability, she got it in 5 months. Anyway, it puts a hardship on us. And then we want to get into personal level stuff. That's why I talk so much to y'all. I don't have an outlet for anything else. Meanwhile, our daughter's grown and lives way down south and never comes around. We haven't seen them in years, and grandkids, none of them. I think she don't like us. I don't know. We're not rich enough and sophisticated enough for her. She's embarrassed. Her wife, her mom's not as brilliant as she thinks she ought to be, or something. I don't know. Anyway, so we got a holiday coming up, and my sister maybe we might see my sister, maybe. We'll see her on Christmas, but for Thanksgiving, probably not. So the wife and I went out and we bought ourselves the fixins. We got a turkey and some other stuff. I'm going to make some pies and things. Next Wednesday, a week from now, I'll be doing the cooking and stuff for Thanksgiving. And it's just going to be Brenda and I. And we're going to go over to her aunt and uncle's for Thanksgiving itself for a few hours. They're up in their years. We don't have too many more years of going to their house for holidays. It's hard sometimes. I grew up in a big family. I had dozens and dozens of cousins and lots of aunts and uncles, and we had all kinds of get-togethers, and that's what you did back in the day. Well, something changed, something happened, everybody went their own way. I hardly ever talked to any of my relatives except outside of Facebook on very, very briefly, and it gets to be lonely sometimes. Anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get off on some whack-ass tangent. I'm bad about that. I am trying hard to stop that shit, but as you can see, it's failing. So we got different novels, some Dragonlance material in here. See, I got that novel. I don't have very many Dragonlance novels. I never could get into Dragonlance. I just couldn't. Oh, the box sets. They had this box set called Underdeep. I think it was Underdeep. Under Mountain, whatever the fuck it is. It's Underwater Deep. It's the setting Underwater Deep. And they wanted around $100 back in the early 90s for that box set. I couldn't pay for it. I really couldn't. That would have been 2 weeks worth of my money for my game material. I could have, and with that $100, I could have bought 4 to 6 other books. So when you look at that perspective, what are you giving up? What are you selling? What are you trading off? And that's kind of how it plays out, and that kind of stuff. And anyway, Spelljammer. I have the box set out there. I'm going to do a video on it, but we'll get to that when I do that video. And then we have Marvel's Universe. My buddy Gilson, he was a massive comic book guy, and he loved the supers. He loved the Marvel and DC Universe game systems. He just did. He always liked playing the superheroes. And to me, I don't know, which is ironic considering you think about the fictional characters and fantasy settings we use for our to play the games we do, and then they shouldn't matter, but yet we do have some flavor. I really like this, but I'm not so keen in this. This is great. That is weird or childish, or I don't get it. I mean, So Gamma World, this was some additions to it. I did not get either one of them because I had long moved past Gamma World at that point. And then we got some dungeon magazines and some other TSR books. I had a whole, geez, I don't know how many totes full of Dungeon and Dragon magazines I had. Because like I said, when you look at cost effect, when you really live on a budget, sometimes you're far better off investing in a periodical such as, at the time, such as Dragon Magazine or Dungeon Magazine, because you're going to get a whole lot of material every month or two, depending on how often it's published, and as opposed to for your bank. So that yearly subscription for that magazine would be the equivalent of 1 or 2 books, and so you're going to get the equivalent of 20 or 30 books worth of material. So we are looking at, like I said, the awesome set, an awesome series. I never quite got into the opportunity to play it on a regular basis. I did do one campaign setting, but I ironically did not have the box set with me. I did fairly well. Nobody complained. I mean, the drow are pretty straightforward if you understand how they work. It's the intricacies of playing inside and doing the dark campaign. And I think I got a video or 2 on those. I will try to find them and tag them on this video when I post it, if I remember. All right, so Menzoberranzan. Anyway.